Installing proVM Auditor is relatively self-explanatory. Once proVM has been installed, there might need to be some tweaks made with SQL depending upon what you're running, and I'll talk to that in a minute. You can either start with a fresh install or upgrade your current version with an update. Keep in mind there is no need to uninstall your current version to update to the newest version. Clicking on your install brings you to the welcome screen of the install wizard, in which you basically next through. Here you can read the terms of your licensing agreement, agree, and click next. You can select the install folder or stay with the default, and can enable the use of proVM for either yourself or anyone who uses this computer. And you can also see how much space the application will require. If you're installing this on a DoD machine, know that this local security policy setting must be disabled for proVM to operate properly, and that this is a Cat 2 finding. If you're not in the DoD, then you probably don't care anyway, but just an FYI. proVM then polls the registry to see if you have any databases built already with previous versions and populates them here, like if you were updating. If this is your first install, these will be blank since there isn't a database already built, at which point you could designate the SQL Server name, which is the name of your SQL Server hostname or IP, and the catalog name of your database for proVM. Or you can wait until after proVM is installed and designate it in the GUI of proVM, and we'll just wait until then. Then click next to install. Now, as we are waiting for the software to install, let me talk about the different flavors of SQL and their own configuration needs to run with proVM properly. There are 3 different ways in which you could be running SQL, each one needing its own tweaks. If you're running SQL Express default instance locally, there are no additional tweaks that need to be made, and you can use localhost as the SQL server name during your install. And this is what we recommend for use with proVM Auditor, simply because there doesn't need to be any more config changes. If you're running SQL Express named instance locally, there are some additional tweaks that need to be made to SQL Express for proVM to run properly, and you can see the video on it for more information. If you have SQL installed on a LAN or a WAN, there are some tweaks you need to make to allow proVM to build its database on your SQL server, and there's also a video on it here to show you how to do that as well. Once proVM is installed, you can launch the software, and if this is your first install at initial launch, you will be prompted to build your database and be taken to the database settings screens here of the software. Remember, if you have SQL Express named instance or SQL on the LAN or WAN, you need to make some changes to SQL before you can build your database for proVM and for proVM to work properly. And see the videos on those and make those changes before trying to build the database here. So we'll go ahead and use localhost because I am running SQL Express locally, and then we'll just say proVM for the initial catalog name, and then you click build database to build a database with all the configurations and data tables that proVM needs to run, and you can see that it was built successfully, and you can now start importing your result files, massaging data, and creating reports. If you have any more questions about this or anything else really, my contact info is in the about section of this YouTube video, or you can reach us here at our website, contact us link. That's all, folks.